One of the biggest problems that I see in yoga teachers is getting stuck on the mat. And even worse is sometimes being taught to stay on the mat. And I see this as a big roadblock for teachers to do three things. One, to grow efficiently and quickly. I see teachers that are staying on their mat, taking up to 5 years and still not having the skill set or the confidence as a teacher that they could have because they've been on the mat for 5 years. I also see it as a big roadblock for why students are not magnetized to teachers. They just are not hungry to come back to those classes often. And I find that this being stuck on the mat is one of the big reasons why teachers don't land auditions. When they're auditioning to finally teach at their favorite studio, even if that studio has a culture of staying on the mat, it doesn't kind of bleed this confidence that intuitively hiring people want. So today, we're going to break down 5 reasons why it is so essential to get off the mat so that you can teach classes that your students are hungry to come back for. You can become that magnetic teacher. And the big one is it really helps you grow your skill set quickly so you're not spending years in trial and error and kind of quitting your yoga career before you even get it going because you just are like, I'm still not confident. I'm not good at this. I quit, which is kind of my whole mission as a yoga mentor. Don't do that. Let's give you the tools that you need so that you don't quit before your career starts. Okay, let's dive into it. So, the 5 reasons why it's essential to get off your mat as a yoga teacher. First one, this is great for helping you learn efficiently as a teacher. So, if you're stuck on your mat, you are not able to observe the class. And this hinders your learning a lot because I see that teachers don't notice when their cues don't land. They don't notice when their students are getting confused. They don't notice when their students are getting frustrated. When you're watching your student and trying on some cues, and you see that only half the room understands that cue, quickly we're able to say, that cue doesn't work. Let's try something else tomorrow. Or I need to adjust this. You're able to adjust in real time. It really helps your learning. Also, sometimes the cues land, but you realize that's not what I meant, right? Like, oh, they're kind of out of alignment here in this high lunge. And the way that I cued it has their hips all off kilter. And I know that could hurt their low back. So I need to cue this differently. I need to adjust this. I need to figure this out. And in real time, you can learn to be a better teacher because you can be observing them and say, wait, try this, right? In your flow of your teaching. But you can say, step into high lunge and then notice something. And then in real time, say, everyone shift your right hip towards the front of the room. And in real time, be like, yay, that's a better high lunge for the safety of everybody's low back. So when you're stuck on your mat, just like sometimes it feels like Zoom Live, right? Where you're just on your mat doing your thing, then you are losing out on just giving them a good class then, but really what this bullet point is about is learning to be a great teacher. So if you're observing and seeing what's landing and what's not landing, you're able to observe what's happening with a sense of curiosity. You're going to get to be a much better teacher for your students and provide them so much more value a lot quicker. So side note, like sometimes I hear teachers need to spend 5 years in trial and error to finally get those coveted spots at the yoga studio that are the right time slots. I don't think so. I would say no. I would say you need to be honing your craft. And I see teachers hone their craft and become incredible assets to their students within 6 months. The really hungry ones are doing this, they're observing, they're seeing what's working, they're fixing and adjusting. And it's key to be observing what you are doing, meaning looking at your students. So that's number one. That's a really big one. The second great reason to spend more time off your mat, or I would suggest most of the time off the mat, especially if you're a new teacher, because it's so valuable, is you energetically are more supportive to your students. Just think about how it feels. I'm sure you know. Like, what does it feel like to be in class and the teacher's doing their own thing at the front of the classroom? They're not watching you. Feels like Zoom Live. It's kind of like, well, why'd I come? There are incredible yoga classes taught online. Um, you can take those classes from master teachers. So if your teacher, when you come to an in-person class, isn't energetically aware of you and kind of sharing energy with you, then it's kind of pointless. Go home, take a great online class, use your favorite app, right? Do something else. So when you're observing them, you're saying, hey, we're here together. If your body is facing your students, it is an energetic exchange. There's this sense of, I'm here for you, I'm supporting you. If you are doing your own thing at the front of the classroom with no idea what your students are doing, it's saying, I have no idea. You do your thing back there. I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. And they can feel it. They see that their neighbors all missed that cue. Their neighbors are all confused. You didn't see it, but they see it because they're in the mix. They're closer. Then they feel like, darn it. Like, she's not really, really here for us. He's not really, really here for us. So it really matters. Just think about it. Like, think about you go to coffee with your friend, and your friend faces away from you for the whole conversation, or faces the wall to the side for the whole conversation. Dang, we could have done this as a phone call, or not at all, right? So it's really important that you're saying, I'm here in relationship with you by facing my body towards you, by acknowledging you, by seeing you. This also, like, side tip, when you are observing your students and you're facing them, even if you're a couple months into teaching, you can seem way more supportive and way more knowledgeable if you are able to comment on what the students are actually doing. Of course, mindfully and thoughtfully and the appropriate comments. But when you're saying, oh, I see people in the room taking a different choice than what I offered, that's awesome. Great, like, great job supporting your own body. Then it's like, oh, she's really a teacher. He's really a teacher. He's really here to make my day better. He sees me. That's one of the biggest human needs. We just want to be seen. That's all. I see some of you taking child's pose, even though you're cueing like warrior three and you're in like a standing balancing moment. I see some of you taking child's pose. That's awesome. Great job taking some rest. Whatever, however you want to say this, but that support of, oh, they see me. Sometimes I see teachers say, great job, everyone, habitually, and they're not looking at anybody. That's not supportive. We feel that. We know that, especially when students are coming to a yoga class and getting in their breath and their body. We're closer to our intuition. So we're going to feel things that are inauthentic. And that's inauthentic when you're like, good job, everybody. And everybody's falling out of tree pose. Like, nobody's doing a good job. Or I see it like, good job, Sarah. And Sarah's like in child's pose, not doing tree pose. I don't know. Like, it's like not, she's not doing a good job. She's like, this is actually a rough moment for me in class. And this doesn't feel like, you know? So when you're aware and you're in a relationship, it can make you seem like you've been teaching for longer. Okay, let's go into point number 3. It is really, I think that this one's really important. It's kind of Possibly controversial, I don't know. Um, but it is important for us to access the really big benefits of yoga. Yoga can help people get more into their breath and their body and closer to their own intuition and closer to their own inner knowing. There's so much all over yoga philosophy that is, don't take my word for it. You have to feel it on your own. It's why there's so much that we can facilitate that makes people's lives better when they get that hour for them. It feels like they're feeling their own body. They're in their own breath. They shut down their eyes if that's comfortable, and they're really getting me time. So, the more we can facilitate, this is your practice, this is you getting to feel your own breath. Don't take my word for it. What are you experiencing? You being your own best teacher. The more we can facilitate that, the more we're providing the kind of classes that the large majority of humans want to come back for because it makes a big difference. Humans want to have that transformation of tapping into their own inner knowing. Whether they come to yoga knowing that or not, sometimes they're like, somebody told me yoga was cool. And then you let them breathe and feel their own breath. And that's all they could communicate. But they're going into an innate need to tap into their own inner knowing and their own ownership, which is why they love this more than other options for moving their body. So, if you spend your whole class asking them to turn on their intellect, look at your body, and make their bodies look like your body, you are not really facilitating this chance for them to go inward. So the more we can spend more time letting them feel their own body and let their own body do its own thing, the more transformational the class is. So also there's like some safety elements to this. Maybe your body does things that, especially if you're teaching a group, there's a really good chance that your pyramid pose looks different than other people's pyramid pose on any end of the spectrum, right? Everybody's body is different. So it can be unsafe for their bodies to try to mimic something that their body is not ready for or not capable of. Or sometimes you have a really able-bodied student and the posture you're cueing isn't something that's great in your body. So now this student that could access the posture kind of on a deeper level is trying to scale back to look like you, and you're using a lot of blocks or something like that. Not that blocks are bad. Blocks are amazing. They can help you get deeper into the postures. It's not for beginners, but like it either can hold your students back from what they need that day, or it can push them too far. It can do both. So having them try to look like your body isn't safe for their body. And intellectually and beyond the poses, what happens when you're looking at somebody and trying to do what their body is doing is your intellect is on and you're just trying to mimic. And so that really takes us away from some of the larger benefits of yoga, of tapping into your own intuition, feeling your own breath, feeling your own body. This can be a big deal. So if instead of asking them to turn on their intellect and copy the whole time, you're facilitating them tapping into their own intuition, this could be a huge reason why they're like, whoa, like they might not be able to intellectualize this or tell you afterwards. Afterwards, they might be like, that was awesome. That's it, which is great. But it might be the reason why they love your class. And it might be the reason why they say, you make a difference in my week. And they'll say things like, you are my favorite part of my week. I can't wait to get back to your class. This could be one of the one reasons why, because you made them feel better. Okay, caveat. Side note, if you're like, wait, but my students really need me to demo. Okay, yes. So what's demoing for? Demoing is for people who are new to the posture, whether that's students that are brand new to yoga and new to all of it, or you're teaching some crazy posture or some crazy transition and they just don't know, right? Um, so if sometimes it's necessary for clarity. And in those cases, give them clarity because it's triggering. If you're like, I have no idea what he's saying, I don't know what he wants me to do. Sometimes a little demo will really help. Also, we have visual learners. Sometimes you'll have a visual learner in class and you can support them, but do it mindfully. So I always tell my mentees, if you're demoing, you better have a great reason why. Is it because you have a visual learner in class that keeps looking at you and is getting confused? Support them. Is it because your transition is crazy and you just want to keep the class flowing and you want to keep them in their breath? So you're going to demo that crazy transition that you put into your sequence just to keep it going. Great. Sometimes we demo to be like in support of the room, like if we're in Sukhasana or seated in the beginning, it can be nice to be like, I'm energetically here with you. And that's why I'm going to be in Sukhasana at the front of the classroom as well. But hope that landed. We'll give them as many opportunities as possible to be in their own breath, their own body, the way they can, access their own inner world. Okay, third, big one, huge one, post-pandemic problem. If you are off your mat, you are able to offer hands-on adjustments. Post-pandemic, we either got out of the habit of hands-on adjustments, or I know a lot of my mentees never learned them because they did a virtual yoga teacher training. So post-pandemic, we have far less hands-on adjustments happening because we're not as confident in them or we never learned them. And we have, whenever you have those adjustment chips, which I highly recommend, where people can opt in or out of hands-on adjustments, what we're seeing is 98% of the room wants hands-on adjustments. Hands-on adjustments are powerful. Human touch is a great need for humans. Sometimes students only get mindful, loving touch when they go to yoga. Wow. So this can be the only reason why they come to your class. We need human touch, and people live stressful, lonely lives. And that is often people who come to our yoga class. And if they get mindful, loving, intentional touch, it does something psychologically to them. We could have a whole video on it that has them say, hey, I got what I need as a human. I'm more grounded and calm and connected to life. Right? So if you have students opting into hands-on adjustments, this is your chance to provide deep value to them. Of course, if they're opted out of hands-on adjustments, it's super important you don't give them. More on that later. I'll do a whole video on hands-on adjustments, but if they're opted in, so important that they get touch. Can't give touch if you're up at the front of the classroom spending the whole hour or 75 minutes doing your own practice. Last reason is you can manage the room if you're off your mat. If somebody signs up for a heated power vinyasa and the room is 65 degrees, pointless, right? Like that's a big deal. If you can manage that, you should manage that. If somebody signs up for restorative and you have a room full of 65 plus and the temperature in the room is 100 degrees, big deal. If you have a student who is scrolling Instagram during class, and you have a mom right next to that student who this is her only chance to step away from technology and chaos and life, and she has to watch somebody scroll Instagram during the hour that she desperately had to fight for to take out of the day and away from her family, that can be so frustrating. If somebody gets hurt and you're up at the top of the classroom in Zoom live mode, just chilling, and you don't notice that somebody's holding their ankle, they're here for your support. They're here for you to hold a container. They need you to have noticed and be like, hey, are you okay? Do you want to step into the lobby? Can I, like you need to be there to manage the temperature, the other students, the lighting, the music. If your playlist goes wild and it jumps into like something that's not the vibe, you need to be on your feet, be a facilitator, be there holding the space, ready to take action to make sure that the experience is all that it possibly can be within your control, of course, so that students get value in a class. Okay. Clearly, I think that it's very, very important that you're spending as much time as possible off the mat. So I hope this was helpful. I would love to know how this goes. You can either message me on Instagram or comment below. Let me know your thoughts, your wait butts, all the things. I hope it's helpful. Have a good day out there.